It's Doug Cunnington here, and this is the Doug Show Live. We got a few things going on today. With any luck, you can indeed hear me. Give me a shout in the chat. Let me know if it's the first time that you've been on a live stream. Let me know where you're from. Just say hello in general. That's always good to know. It does look like the little green bar is moving, and that tells me that you can probably hear me, but not always. Oh, Georgie's coming to join us here for the live stream. And there she goes, taking her spot under the desk. Okay, cool. So we got a few things going on today. I'll mention kind of how this is going to run. So I will take some questions. However, if they are, like completely unrelated to what I'm talking about, probably hold them towards the end. There are some fine people in the chat like Stephen Buchanan who can point you in the right direction. There's actually an FAQ over on my blog that probably will answer the frequently asked questions that you may have. So just a quick note on that. I do see, this stuff in the chat, but if it's not relevant, I'm going to move on and please don't ask the question multiple times in a row. People don't like that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the site speed accelerator a little bit. I've been playing around more with that. There is a contest going on with a company called Motion Invest, and some of my friends run that company over there. They're giving away a site that's valued at about $6,000. It's making $200 per month. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. And then there is it's kind of a special offer over at Brand Builders. There's a few sites with a keyword golden ratio. It is a special offer situation, and they're only available for a couple more days. I only opened it up to some of the folks in my course recently, and you only have till the end of the day, but I encourage you to take a look. And a couple other things, we got some awesome highlights, a couple highlights from an interview coming up next week with Matt Giovanisci from moneylab.co and Listen Money Matters. Two very huge, massive podcasts compared to my modest, small podcast. So I'm just going to say hello. We got Five Right. We got Pro Roofers, Traffic Mania, ASIM, what's up? AR Skills, Mohammed, and Derek. Derek just sent me an email. And Josh, what's up? You're from the course. And Josh, I have an email I'm drafting back to you because I know you sent me one based on like the little checkpoint. So thank you for that. And I'm going to get back to you for sure. Got Tiger. We got, let's see, SJ and a couple other things. Okay. And Erifer, what's up? Okay, cool. Good to have everybody on. And let's see, there's quite a few things to talk about, and those clips are going to be really good. I think we got Matt Giovanisci. We got a couple from him, one from Ron Stefanski, and I think there was another one in the mix too from Marty McLeod, which I just published a couple highlights from him recently. So yeah. 118 is saying, can you actually do a website review where I show us the site? Yes, I can. Actually, I'm working on something like that soon because I used to do these teardowns. So you can actually go on my channel and look for the niche site teardowns. And there's probably like 20 videos. There's multiple hours of this already. Some of it is a little older, and that's why I'm going to be revamping it soon. And there's some public sites that are not really on people's radar these days, and I am going to show you those sites because they're literally public sites. One of my friends, Alex Cooper over at WP Eagle, he has a site and he's covering it on his channel. He goes in depth. There's monthly updates. He's showing you traffic. He's showing you revenue. Very thorough. And I'm going to go and tear it down on my own. So I recently interviewed Alex coming out in a few weeks. So, all right. Quick note, I am speaking at Pubtelligence at the Ezoic event, and that's actually held at a Google office in New York City. So I was invited to speak there. It's on April 3rd. That is a Friday. It's a one-day conference. It's free to attend. You do have to apply, but it's open to small publishers, just individual folks and very large publishing companies, people that are into publishing, and I'll be speaking there. There's a link in the description so you could apply, see if you can make it in. and check it out. I think they provide food too. I mean, it's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. If you're in the, the area where you could drive to the city, then you don't have to spend anything on flights. But overall, it's a good reason to, get to it. Okay, moving on to the site speed accelerator. You know what? I'm going to come back to that in a second because that's by Ezoic as well. And these live streams are brought to you in part by Ezoic and the site speed accelerator. But the thing is, I just was playing with it, testing it out on one of my sites, and I got like pretty epic results. The mobile PSI, the page speed insight score, was like 27 to 30, depending on, when I ran the test. It goes up and down. It varies by a few points. So if you've ever used it, if you run it, sometimes your server's a little faster, sometimes your server's a little slower, and that can impact it by a couple points. Anyway, I went from a 27 all the way up to like a 98, 99, very high. Really cleaned it up. So I was very impressed because at first, I'm not sure if I didn't have it set up quite right or something, but at first I didn't see like super amazing numbers, but like going from basically really horrible to very good, like almost top. Uh, the top score is 100. So if you're like in the 90s, you're in great shape. So anyway, I'll play that demo in a second. So let's talk about this site giveaway for $200. All right. So I am going to share my screen so I can be sure to let you take a look. So it's a company called Motion Invest, and it's not exactly a brokerage, but it's a place where you can buy and sell websites. So people generally like that. And there's all these little windows on my screen, so I'm having a hard time like getting over to it. So I apologize for that. All right, let's try and share my screen here. Boom. So that should probably work. Okay. So as I mentioned, Motion Invest is a place where you can buy and sell profitable websites. They're not a broker, so they literally buy sites from people that want to sell them, and then they spruce them up a bit and then sell them later. So, a lot of times you can find not necessarily cheaper deals because every deal is a little bit different, but there's no broker fee. There's no broker fee. Very, very key. And basically, they're giving away a website. So it ends on April 7th. There's a lot of entries so far, 12,216. There's 39 days left. And basically, you'll get a website. You'll get the website and a bunch of other stuff. I threw in my course, 5-Figure Niche Site. So I think there's multiple giveaways. So highly encourage you to check it out. There's a link in the description. Funny thing, I sent out an email this morning. I talked about this giveaway. I forgot to put in my link. So I'm an affiliate for any of the products and stuff that I'm going to mention today. So I'm an affiliate for Motion Invest. Basically, if you end up buying something from them, I would get a small like commission, but it's only if there's a transaction. It's free to enter this, so may as well go enter it. And there's ways to get multiple entries and all that stuff like normal, and there's multiple giveaways, so no reason not to enter over there. Okay, so with that said, I will mention like the about, or I'll look at the about us section so you can see who's behind it. A couple of my friends. So you got John Haver from Authority Website Income, and then Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits, and then Kelly Van Boxmeer. And I'm pretty sure she worked alongside John for some of the other I guess entities that John runs, and it's good people, and they're doing, they're filling a need in the market, because if you go to the bigger brokers, generally you're going to find that if you go to the bigger brokers, you're going to find that the prices are much higher than they used to be. So the prices are a lot higher because they're just going up the food chain. There's a lot more money where people are trying to invest in websites, so the prices have gone up in general, and there are bigger sites out there that people are actually buying. So Motion Invest sort of serves the like everyday person in that they're not as expensive. So if you're like trying to find a site that maybe you want to get at a better price, and then you want to improve the site, grow the content, for example, that is some stuff that you can check out. So, all right. That said, the other thing I'm going to mention, so we'll get some of these offers and stuff out of the way real quick. Brand builders. So they build done for you sites, and basically I don't like done for you sites. All right. So I talk about it all the time. There's videos. I did a blog post on it. I invited people from brand builders, human proof designs, other places that build these sites. And I was like, why do you like them? Why are they good? And I did a whole roundup post. If you look for it on Niche Site Project, it's one of the more popular posts out there. There's a few scenarios where I think, hey, it's a good idea to get a pre-made site. But generally, for most people, it's not a good idea. However, you know what? I'm just one person with some weird opinions, and people want to buy these fucking sites, basically. People want to buy done-for-you sites because it saves them some time, or I don't know. I try to talk people out of it all the time. Yet here we are, because I know I can't like dictate what the market wants. If people want to buy sites and I can make recommendations for good people to work with, here we are. So John Haver also runs brand builders. Basically, he was like, hey, what if we built some sites using some of the ideas from Five Figure Niche Site? What if we use KGR and made these sites a little better than the normal ones? He maybe didn't use that term better than the normal ones, but in my opinion, if you're getting a site that has some KGR content, you got a leg up on the competition. So that's what these sites are. There's a link in the description. Again, I am an affiliate, so I get a commission if you buy it. And I worked with John and his team, and I came from a corporate background like John, and I'm a ball buster. So I was looking at the sites and I was like, this is wrong. Like, I want to change that. Show me your keyword research. You need to tighten it up. And I'm not sure if they're going to do this again with me, because I'm a ball buster. When I when I worked for clients, they busted my balls, and that is what I learned, right? And I'm very specific on details most of the time. So anyway, I was like, if people are going to shell out some cash for these sites, then we need them to be high quality. So anyway, you could have a look. There's more details in the description. I'm not going to do a huge long sales pitch here, but basically they're ready to go. There's a 24-hour turnaround time. Not sure how that's going to play out over the weekend. You have until the end of the day today. All right. You don't have much time. I shared it with my course folks first to give them the first stab. So you don't have much time. There's not many sites left. And it looks like the sale price is like $1,600. Has 14,000 words. You get some KGR content, you get some KGR keywords, and then you can go from there. The sites are hidden, by the way. So these are not just publicly available. You have to pay a deposit. And I'm sure some people are like, God damn it, why do I have to pay a deposit? If you're actually going to buy the site, you will appreciate the fact that everyone doesn't know your URL, the main keywords, and all your business. So if you are interested, if you have $1,600 burning a hole in your pocket, go check it out. There's a link in the description, and they are, sort of built and ready to go. You get a lot of other features in there as well. Okay, let me come back to the big screen, and I'm going to just take a quick look to say hello to some folks. And okay, so 118, I'm just going to go back to that and say, hey, do I actually review sites? So those are some new ones are going to be coming up soon. I'm going to be rolling them out. I may even do like sort of a series of them, because I have like another idea on how to approach it versus how I used to do it. Amin's on as well. And let's see, Danish says, what's my take on Google cracking down on guest posting? So I'm not, is this a new thing, or is this the same stuff that we've heard for, I don't know. I think Google started, quote, cracking down on guest posting about 5 years ago. And generally things seem like smooth sailing. So I'm not sure if there's new developments or what. Okay. SJ Gaming says, what category pays more commission? So just go to Amazon and look up the commission structure, and it's right there. There's also a link, or there's a page on Niche Site Project that answers that. Okay, so let's play some clips real quick. So let's see what we got in store here. Next Monday, I have a very exciting interview. It's a long one. It's great for the podcast. I think it's going to get some good traction on YouTube as well. And I talked to Matt Giovanisci over at moneylab.co, and he lives close by, which is cool. And I drove down to his studio, and we chatted for a while. We talked about Google updates. So I'm going to play this clip here, and the full episode comes out on Monday.
It's a similar thing that happened, I think, last year in August. It was like the medic update, they called it. I don't know what they're calling this one. It's a core update. So it's like to the foundation of Google's algorithm. And I just was looking into this the other day. It really hit financial sites and medical sites hard again. But it was a really big hit for kind of everybody. I've noticed. So I think when you have a core update that happens like that, it's really hard to pinpoint like what's wrong on my site that actually caused this to happen. It's kind of, you have to look at your site holistically and go like, am I doing the right things or not? And if you are doing the right things, like just trust that things will come back in your favor. And I think that that's something that it certainly happened to people that I know personally, and we've talked about on our podcast, which is like, yeah, I mean, if you just waited it out and let the course correction happen, like, as long as you're following, basic rules of like being a good content creator on the internet, like not doing like scammy, crappy things, you'll be okay. And I've seen people that compete with me come and go, and everyone, it's like, oh, why aren't you like going after them, or why aren't you like scared? I'm like, because they'll be gone in a year from now. Like they kind of like come up, and then Google just goes, nope. And Swim University's been around for 15 years. Yep. And you're just creating good. You're updating your stuff. You're not trying to like shove a bunch of keywords in there. You're not trying to like put a bunch of pop-up at your site's incredibly fast. Like it's everything. I'm basically giving Google exactly what they want, which is relevant content for people who are searching for that content. That's it. And making it super digestible and easy to read and understand. And also those like rich snippets. That's what Google wants, because they don't want to send people to your website. They want to keep people on Google. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically like, I'm just, it's like, it's a balance between, it's almost not even a balance anymore. It used to be a balance like of writing for the search engine and then writing for the reader. And now the search engine is literally reading websites as this, like using AI technology and machine learning to read and profile websites according to Rank Ranger, which I read, Morty's post on that, I think back when the medic update came out, and I was like, this is crazy. It's like, imagine if, Google had a team, like a massive room of people who were just going on individual websites and reading them and going, yeah, thumbs up or thumbs down. Like that's, I think, what Google's doing right now.
Yeah.
It's like looking at your site holistically instead of like individual posts and going like, you know what, this site rules. And if we have a keyword that comes up and they're like, low, we'll give them a little bump.
Gotcha. And yeah, these recent core updates, probably for the last couple of years, I would say it's like the holistic approach. You can't, it's not like Penguin and Panda or whatever, where they're like, hey, it's this 2 or 3 things that you could actually fix.
Yeah, no, you can't fix. It's like your whole site's your whole site, your whole approach is bad. And even that, I got hit by Penguin or Panda, one of the 2008, whatever 2008 one was, but I forget what animal. But I got hit bad, Swim University specifically, because I was writing 300-word articles and getting a bunch of backlinks. Remember Ezine articles?
Oh yeah.
It's like getting like I was given so much content to Ezine articles. They sent me gear. Like they sent me like physical products in the mail, like, mugs, t-shirts, pens. They're like, dude, you're giving us free content, and they're gone, but all that content's gone. Good, because it was awful. I was writing these, like, I was using Unique Article Wizard, like switching sentences. Oh, God.
All awful. The crazy stuff. Yeah.
Oh, and if you think back to it, you're like, man, I feel like a real asshole. But I was being taught that as if this is how you do it.
Yeah, even our
Williams.
our idols like Pat Flynn. I mean, I
Yeah.
read
Yeah.
articles on Smart Passive Income where it's like, here's how you use the article spinner.
Mhm.
Here's how you do the link pyramids and the
Mhm.
link wheels, all the bananas
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah, and if you just, I mean, if you, I mean, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I mean, if you think back to that, you're just like, who are we writing for? Like, what is this for? And who's gonna read this 300 word piece of shit article? Like, no one's gonna read this. Like, it's not
no,
even helpful. But we've come a long way.
indeed. And that was Matt Giovanisci or Giovanisci. I'm not sure. I've come a long way. I used to call him Matt G, but now I can actually hit all the syllables, and we're just working on refining the pronunciation. So, like I said, that full interview is coming out on Monday. Matt's awesome because he has basically public sites out there. So some of his sites are ones that I'm probably going to tear down. I need to double check with him and make sure we're good to go on that. But I do want to show you his site, moneylab.co, because he has just some really epic type content. So, a cool thing to give you sort of an idea on the scope of what he's doing is he has, I think it's over here. How I built a mildly successful six-figure business in 17 years. This is his like timeline, and he's crushing it right now. All right. So he doesn't put like specific like profit numbers, but he does share some top line revenue, which he's doing amazingly. And this is a wonderful, I thought this was his about page, but it's just like a timeline here. And he started a website called Swim University. It's been featured in a few places, very big type site back in 2005. People, do you realize that 2005, that was 15 years ago, he bought Swim University, October 16th, 2005. That was a long time ago. Insane, totally insane. And I'm not going to read everything here, but he sort of divides things up into certain areas. And he didn't go to college. He didn't have a strong writing background. He didn't know how to code. He taught himself all this stuff. He taught himself all this stuff. And one of the cool things is that site, Swim University, I believe he notes it in here. And I want to make sure I get it right. All right. I want to make sure I get it right. Quick plug for his other podcast, Listen Money Matters, which who listens to that? Anyone? Yep. Josh says, is that the Swim University fellow? Yes, exactly. So this Listen Money Matters, huge podcast, totally bootstrapped as far as I know. And I thought I heard of it years ago and never paid attention. I don't know. I missed some things. It's a big world out there. There's a ton of podcasts, even a few years ago. But the cool thing is they started it in 2013. I remember in 2009, I was like, maybe I should do like a podcast. It would have been about beer, and I was like, oh man, there's already like 4 beer podcasts. Total waste of time. I can't believe how small minded I was. Just insane. All right, we're getting close to it. All right, I'm just going to scroll down faster here. Sorry to scroll so fast. Um, Another record year. So in 2017, his business earned around 270K. Insane. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom here to make sure I get to the part breaking 400K in 2019, which is amazing. Anyway, the point is the guy's doing really well. The interview on Monday, I hope you enjoy. It was great talking to him. I think we're going to hopefully collaborate more. I think we have a lot in common, including a lot of, we enjoy beer quite a bit. He brews all the time, all the time. I think if I got it right, he brews once a week, which I used to do, but I kind of ran out of time with it. So anyway, check out Matt's site. He has a lot of stuff going on. And then you'll learn all about him coming up on Monday. And we're going to have a lot of highlights coming out as well. So by the way, do people like the highlights? Do people enjoy the highlights? I am getting good responses this time around. I do know that it sort of floods your feed, but there's a couple things happening. I don't want to create another channel that has just like clips in it, even though it would potentially clean up some of the notifications and stuff like that. It's just more to manage. And I like to keep things simple. My hunch is that YouTube recommends, like it starts to understand your behavior, and it won't recommend them to you unless it happens to be like, one of the really good ones. So we'll see how it goes, but I think releasing those clips is a great way for people just to get the bite size piece of an interview, because I know it's hard on YouTube specifically for people to sit down for 45 minutes or an hour and a half. Like I think the interview with Matt is like an hour and 20 minutes or something. So, all right, I'm going to check out a couple of the other questions over here. Me says, how do I choose to give away the site? So I'm not giving it away. It's Motion Invest. There's a link in the description. You just have to go to that site. I don't know exactly. I think there's probably terms and conditions listed there. I think it's a random selection. All right. I think it's just a random selection with like some kind of contest software. That's kind of the standard way. And follow-up question for me says, it looks like all the niches are saturated. How do you want me to find a good niche? So I would say, I put a link in the chat a minute ago. Go to nichesiteproject.com/Amazon-affiliate, and you can read like the whole process there. And a lot of things are quote saturated, but if you are starting off, everything is going to look quite saturated. You're going to think, why should I even start? But the truth is, it's always been like that. It's almost always saturated. No matter like when you start, people are like, oh, affiliate marketing, too competitive. Podcasting, too competitive. YouTube, too much competition out there. There's already a million internet marketing channels or whatever. But people seem to start every day, and there's new like players in every industry. So there's ways that you can go check it out and find a better niche than another. But yeah, go read some of that stuff. And let's see. Someone is asking how to be part of the giveaway. So yeah, there's a link in the description. Go there and you should be good to go. So a couple other things I want to talk about. Let me just make sure I hit all the other stuff. Oh yeah, my friend John Dykstra over at the Fat Stacks blog, he publishes income reports. He makes about 40K per month on average. Some months are a little lower, some are a little higher, but he's doing really well. 40,000 per month. Okay, not per year, but per month from his sites. He has a few sites, and he has very, very good courses, bite-sized courses where it's like, hey, I want to outsource more content, for example. What templates can I use? How can I hire people? How can you manage that process to like get out of the weeds? So he just put out a course to give you that framework, and it's 50% off until the end of the day today. So check it out. It'll be available in the future. You just won't be able to save that much. There's a link in the description. Again, I'm an affiliate. And Josh and Derek, any questions? Dan, any questions? So Steve asked one here. What's the average article length for product reviews? So on average, I would say around 1,500 words or so, but depending on how competitive the term is, or how many products there are, or exactly what I'm trying to do, how many searches for that particular keyword, I may make it up to like 5,000 words. Some of them are even longer, maybe 7,000 or 8,000, but those would be like much larger search terms as far as volume goes. And then much higher search volumes and potentially more products. So I think 1,500 words is a good sort of minimum for a product type review. What about you, Steve? What do you usually do? And I'm gonna hop back over and look at improving your Google Page Speed Insight score. That's sort of like the standard tool over at Google. It's free. You just enter like the website or the website URL. And when you test this, you should be checking like an internal page, kind of a normal average page for you. You don't want to necessarily check the home page. You can check the home page. I mean, you want the home page to load fast, but really most of your traffic is probably going to an internal page if you're getting traffic from Google. With that said, you should check one of those internal pages. So I was testing out the site speed accelerator from Ezoic. I'm going to play part of this video, not the whole thing, but basically I recreate doing the test so you can see like in real time, like how quick you can go from a abysmal, terrible score to a much higher, not just acceptable, but like a really awesome, exceptional score. Do you want to improve your page speed insights scores? Check this out. I went from a 27 in the mobile page speed insight on Google to a 98 in about 2 minutes. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. In this video, I'm going to show you how I got that 98 to 99 Google Page Speed Insight score. That's PSI. I used a tool called the Site Speed Accelerator, and it was created by a company called Ezoic. Ezoic is a Google certified publishing partner. And I feel kind of silly because I tried to do this work on my own, and I was using many different WordPress plugins. I was messing with PHP. I was changing things that I shouldn't have been changing. And it turns out it's way easier to get a high score in the 90s. In this video, I'm going to show you a few things. Number one, I'm going to disable the site speed accelerator. I'm going to run the test again so you can see the very low score. Number two, I'm going to re-enable the site speed accelerator, run the test again so that you can see the much higher score. And then I'm going to show you my configuration, what I have set up inside Ezoic and the site speed accelerator. And then there's a couple other little admin things that I want to show you at the end. And quick note, you can go and test this for free. So there's a 7-day free trial with Ezoic and the Site Speed Accelerator. So you can test it out, see if it works for your site. Hey, my name's Doug Cunnington, and normally I talk about Amazon affiliate marketing and SEO and some other random stuff. And I'm known for sort of long, rambling videos, but this one's going to be shorter and more concise, and I'm going to get to the point. There's a couple things I want to let you know before we get into the meat of the video. Number one, you don't have to enter a credit card to check out this site speed accelerator, right? All you need to do is enter your email address, create a password. You're creating an account, but you don't have to put in any billing information. So that's super cool. The other thing I want to let you know is Ezoic sponsors my podcast and occasionally a live stream. However, this video is just my own opinion, right? This is exactly what I've used the site speed accelerator for. Ezoic didn't ask me to create the video. They had no influence over the content of this video. This is purely my opinion, but it's important for me to note that I do work with Ezoic on some level. All right, let's get to the demo. Let me give you a little color commentary about what's happening here. So I'm showing you the actual test, the before and after, so that you can see that I'm not making it up. So this is the original, the 27. You'll see I've blurred out the actual URL just to protect my privacy. Here's the desktop. It's an 82. It's not bad. Mobile is much harder. We're going to hop over and just look at some of the other details. You can see a lot of issues here, a lot of red. Red is bad. Green is good. I'm using Ezoic Site Speed Accelerator, and I have it configured. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate it here. And I'm going to rerun the test so that you can see what's going on. I've accelerated the speed of this video. You'll see we got the 98. And then over on the desktop side, we have 100. And basically, things are optimized in a very serious way. Here's the settings that I use. I'm basically taking like all the optimization that I can handle here. And it's very straightforward. I think these are the defaults, by the way. I'm not doing anything unusual. And just hit save and we're good to go. So here's how you can get started, and you don't have to enter your credit card or anything like that. You could test this out 100% for free. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to play the whole clip. I'm just showing like configuration settings. There's a link in the description if you want to check out the full video, but basically it's a no-brainer. So if you're not doing any like caching or optimization as far as speed, you can see like massive results. And I did see a question from Derek. So Derek sent me an email earlier. He was like, hey man, I hit some good earnings, which Derek, I won't mention it here because you didn't say that I could or could not do that. So if you want to mention what you're earning, buddy, you can let everyone know. So it's his 5 month growth. He was like, "Oh, do you consider that average?" So basically, no. That's about 10x where I would say the average person is going to be. All right, so you're doing about 10x over average folk that they're just getting started and that sort of thing. Usually in 6 months, um, I would say, people are probably around $100 per month, something like that. If you're doing the things that you should be doing per the 5 figure niche site course, which not everybody has, I know, but if you're out there doing some other stuff, maybe it'll take you a little bit longer, maybe it'll take you a little bit shorter. Derek's making about $1,000 per month. So he said, "Hey, I could say it." So he's making about $1,000 per month, and hopefully I can convince him to come on as a success story because he's here often on these live streams. So he was like, "Hey, I buckled down, doing good." So I mean, like I said, you're doing about 10x over what the like an average results over 6 months. So good job. Good job on that. Last week, I did not abuse the sound effects that I have available here. Some of them are a little more, I don't know, just they're a little more annoying. It's kind of like a morning DJ or something like that, where they have, oh, yes, it's literally called DJ air horn. So maybe if something really exciting happens, we'll do that. But others are a little bit more pleasant, like this one. Nice. And that'll signal another highlight reel. So, oh, Marty had this fantastic one. So, Marty McLeod, featured on the channel many times. He's written a couple posts over a niche site project. At the time of our recent interview, he's making $4,500 per month from his, yeah, I think he has 2 sites, but generally the majority of the revenue is coming from one site. There's only 100 pieces of content. And that's what Marty's telling us about here. Because I know some people are like, "Hey, I want to publish like 400 articles and it's going to take me forever." And then they just keep publishing content and they're not really spending time on the things that they should spend time on. So Marty's just talking about having like 100 pieces of content and making good money.
I do have two. I have my main one. You could accuse me of being slightly overambitious when I started the second one. Somebody recommended to do it, but it was a good idea because it's a little bit extra money too. And now I can grow that site, which I couldn't do before. I had to focus, decide where to spend my time before.
Okay, cool. So you have 2 sites, and how old is each one?
So yeah, the first one is the one that's I think it's roughly 2.5 years, and the other one would be about two at this point. Yeah.
Okay, so you got the other one started pretty quick, just 6 months in, probably to get some age in there, and you were thinking, "Hey, why not?"
Yeah, later on that year, once the first one, or I did so. It's been such a long time. Uh, I had asked somebody about things, and he said, "Well, I know they're affiliate marketing. I know that," and he had suggested that I do that. It happened to be something that was used to be a hobby and part-time job I had before I got out of college, in my hometown, or when I worked in my hometown part time. And so it was an idea. I thought, well, I can start the side, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay. So my main one. It was almost biting off more than I could chew at the time. So that's why I tend to caution people now about doing that. You know.
Yeah, no one believes us, but then after they do it, then they end up
Yeah.
realizing that it's too much. I have at least 3 or 4 sites that just sit there. They're aged, they're years old, but like I still haven't gone back because at some point it's kind of it's work, right? After you do something for a while, it's work, and I'm like, I could like go to the gym or go walk outside for a little while instead. So I usually do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm lazy. So, well, for that initial site, we'll just focus on
Okay.
one site for now, and then I may pepper in some other questions about the second site. But for the first site, are you making the majority of the money from that one site?
Like I calculated that roughly 91%. So just to say 90%. How about that?
Cool. So perfect. We'll just focus on that main part. How many pieces of content are on the first site, and how did the content come about?
I just hit post number 100 about a week and a half, or maybe two at the most. I go just finish up some more product reviews. So I started off with the 10 sprint of 10, like you recommend in your course, and then just went from there whenever I could. I just had to do the best I can on such limited free time. Spent most of my weekends where, especially starting off, I was much slower at writing content because I wasn't a very good writer at the time. So it took me a long time, but let's say I would get out on a good month, I could get out 4 to 6, maybe depends on what kind of post. And until I got more faster, and then I could might get 2 or 3 on a weekend. I had to do a lot of it on the weekend,
Okay.
or at night.
Cool. And during this like period of time, you're working what, like 40 to 60
Yeah,
hours a week?
it was definitely at least 40, and sometimes I'd stay late at night. Well, I should, you're not supposed to, but every once in a while I squeeze in working on my site at work. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No one watches these, so I never did that because I was doing this on the side as well. So I never did that, but I did work remotely. So I always had like a second laptop or whatever. So if I did personal stuff, because I was like, I want to make sure I'm not doing anything on my work computer. I don't know if you did that, don't answer it. But basically, yeah, like if you work remotely, usually you have a lot more free time. And you actually went into an office though every day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And well, we'll keep focusing on the site. So you have about 100 pieces of content. So I think this is a good point because I literally just answered a question today. Someone was like, well, how many pieces of content do I need to make, say, $1,000 per month? And some people may say 300 posts. They have like astronomical number of words, but you're saying you had 100 pieces of content, and that is basically making you, if I do the math right, like $4,500 per month, roughly.
Right.
Okay. And I would argue potentially, right? We will never know because we can't go back in time. But I think if you didn't do the CRO testing in November and December, like your earnings would be like
Oh yeah, yeah.
a lot higher. So
Yeah.
more like 8,000 per month if I just had to estimate. So,
Yeah. I would agree.
yeah. So from your observation, you don't have to have as much content. You have 100 pieces. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you format it and how long it is, images, all that kind of stuff?
Honestly, sometimes mine are too long, but it's just because I honestly try so hard to put in some really good stuff. But basically, mine easily are about 2,000, 2,500. Let's say let's use the example of a buyer post because the info post is a different case altogether. It'll be 2,000, 2,500, and I'll have have sections with the general content like what is this product, how does it work, what does this do, what is the best, yada yada. A lot of those I have in there. I should be getting ahead of myself. I start off with an intro table of contents that's very clear and easy to click on, and then I go into the general content section, and then I have my product tables if it's a say best X or Y post, and then I have my detailed product sections after that. And I basically each one of those is all my posts are very similar to each other. It's that general layout, for example, for a buyer post, and you could say likewise for a single product review or an info post. I have a general similar style that's fairly consistent.
Okay, great. And as far as like images and stuff like that, for example, I see you have some lighting set up behind you. So
Oh
you're
yeah,
taking some images yourself, right?
yeah, definitely. So I got an inexpensive light stand or a couple light stand sets from eBay, and I got some good bulbs, which is another learning experience. And for single product reviews, my main niche is fairly competitive, and there's a lot of sites up there. It's for some reason it's one of the ones that a lot of people think of first. So I needed some kind of advantage, and I think I heard like Stuart Walker or someone like that mentioned one time that they actually buy the product, take pictures. And in a lot of cases, part of this was I couldn't find good images from the manufacturer or whatever the case might be. There might just not be any out there. But if something I really wanted to dig in and say, what can I do to set my site apart? And so I said, okay, why don't I give a shot buying one of these? And I'll take my own pictures. And I started off with just my old Sony camera a phone I used to have. The camera was pretty bad, but I made it work. and people responded well to that. And then I thought, well, I'd like to do even better job. So I got some light stands, and you got a little table, and I could take little pictures of the products, and I take very detailed products. Now I have a better phone, much dramatically better camera, so I can do even better and not have to edit it quite as much, fix it. And it was mainly trying to be a step ahead above the other guys, because a lot of my competition, they don't care about quality at all. All they do is put out garbage. They're just trying to get your clicks. I really want to deliver what people are looking for and answer their questions. Is this good or not? And then I wanted to also do it in a way that makes my site look authoritative. You can trust it. So that it makes a huge difference.
Okay. Do you have any other tips for content or making someone's content stand out?
Yeah, I because I've seen so many different sites by this time, and after having changed the way I do it now from when I started off. So there's an article on your website about secondary keywords. So that helped me a lot for making the content longer, not just because I'm trying to fill it in with something, but it's a section. I'll take a secondary keyword and use that to make a section in the content that actually contributes something to the reader. That fills in that necessary space if say it was going to be very short otherwise. But generally, I try to lay things out in a way where it's easy to read, easy to find where you're going. If it's just information, there's a table of contents, there's clear H2s, everything's sectioned off, it's not too long, break it up, make it easy to keep up, especially on your phone, on a smaller screen. And then product related stuff, I make it easy to find what I recommend, easy to know what to click on, a call to action, either a link or a button, whatever it may be. Good pictures as much as possible, things like that.
Okay. And it's funny when you mention it, a lot of it just seems kind of obvious, but like when you're in the trenches and you're thinking, I need to publish more content, and you have a big list of keywords, people can get overwhelmed and overdo it, underdo it, like all the things that you mentioned. It's not necessarily trivial to, find a solution for like tables or the table of contents or etc. All right, that was Marty McLeod talking about like earning good money to basically like quit his job. And he didn't have a huge amount of content. He has a lot of content, but he's been working on it for a little while. So anyway, I encourage you to check out the full review with Marty, the full interview that is. So definitely check that out. And I see by Lel says, I'm a big inspiration. Great. Keep at it. Steven says, do I apply the KGR formula to product reviews? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I use the KGR as appropriate. So Steven, you want to refine your question or something? I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I use it if I need it. And then if I want to write content that doesn't follow the KGR, well, then I'll do that too. So the KGR is just a tool in the toolbox, like I don't know, it's like some sort of specialized tool, like some kind of screwdriver with a weird little, not a Phillips head or a flat head, but some other kind of thing. It's kind of like that. If you try to use that like weird star hex thing on a regular screw, it's not going to work. So, okay, yeah, if you want to refine your question, you can do that. All right, got a couple other things going on too. So for the people that I know, folks jump in and they jump out, some people just joined, there's a website that's worth about $6,000. There's a giveaway at Motion Invest. That is a new company. They are a website sort of marketplace. They're not a broker. They don't take broker fees. You can sell your site there. You can buy sites there. They're giving away a site as sort of a big promotion. There's a link in the description so you can put in your email address and share it and do some other stuff. Check it out. Good people are running it. You got John Haver and you have Spencer Hawes. Those are pretty well-known people. They've been around for years. I know them personally. It's worth checking out. And there's no cost to enter. So you may as well, have a look. May as well have a look at it. There's a couple other cool things going on in the description, many links in there. So I'm not going to go on for too long. got some other things going on today. And for the other people that are, completely just joining, I should give a shout out for myself and just say, if you are not on my email list, you should definitely join the email list. You go to nichesiteproject.com, click the green button. I will send you templates. I'll start sending you emails over the course of a few weeks. And I'll point you towards articles that I think are helpful to help you understand like what I'm about and what I've done in the past, and some techniques that you can use immediately. And a lot of people in the chat are, already doing some of those things, but I put you into, or I point you towards articles and content that can be helpful. Sometimes it's videos, sometimes it's podcast. There's a lot of success stories in there that I try and share, and it's just overall helpful. And I should tell people, especially if you're on here, you spent the time to join me live, go sign up for the email list if you're not on there. And if you're in the chat, let us know. Are you on the email list? And then people that are on watching the replay, leave a comment. Say, hey, I'm on the email list, or I just signed up, or something like that. Always good to hear. I know Dan's on there. I know Dan's on the email list. And yeah, I think we have another couple nice clips to play. And this is, so Matt from Money Lab, he created a theme. And this crazy, crazy dude wrote it himself. He coded out this theme, and it loads incredibly fast. So I'm kind of a one theme person, but I am tempted to check it out because I think it's very lean. It's straight to the point. I'm comfortable doing a little CSS management and a little bit of coding here and there. And basically, it's built for speed and adaptability and just being versatile. He doesn't worry about AMP, like the accelerated mobile pages. It's just a lean theme. So there's no extra shit on there, basically. So this is Matt talking about building a theme and coding it and then selling it.
I was so advised against making a theme.
Yeah.
Because everyone asked me. The thing I was tired of answering from my audience. So, to the point where I would secretly go like, if I have to answer this one more time, I'm going to punch a wall, because it was my own ego, right? That was like making me feel this anger. Everyone would email me and say, what theme do you use? And it would drive me nuts because my answer is, hey, some people don't use themes. Some people code them themselves.
Maniac.
And it was,
Come on.
like
who does that?
You're right. And I was like, I just felt this like pride that I built this my own thing. And it's like my own thing. You should know that I hand coded this from scratch. Stupid. So to answer that question that comes in more than I could possibly tell you, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a theme then. Like, and I didn't really have to make it. I had already made it. I just had to extrapolate it out from my 3 sites and go, okay, well, what, I need to make this design decisions that would work for pretty much everybody and anybody. So I called it Carbonate, which you can go to buycarbonate.com, BUY, and Buycarbonate's a pool thing and it's a beer thing. So it's chemistry.
Yeah.
Money Lab. Everything I do is chemistry based. I was trying to figure out what to call my company. My company's called Ace Media because I don't know how to do anything with these. I just I used to collect playing cards, and I had 150 decks of them. I just donated all of them. I was like, oh, that's something unique about me. Ace. Done.
All right.
But I was like, oh, well, all my brands had to do with chemistry. And there's a lab element. So what could I call it? I still can't figure. I want to change the name of the company. I just can't figure out. A good name hasn't come up that was really cool. But yeah, so the theme is really just an answer to those people as like, hey, you want to know what theme I use? This one. And I made it. End of story. The problem that I got into with don't create a theme, because if you create a theme, you're gonna have to update it. You're gonna have to customer service. People are gonna have so many problems. And I was like, unless I just develop a zip file and literally say out of the box, there is no customer service. This theme is one and done. You can manipulate it to no end, but this is my core group of PHP files that's incredibly light. If you were to just install it and add, a couple of plugins that I recommend, and then like add your content, like the site will load in a half second. So, you know,
Beautiful.
it's like, yeah, it doesn't have like builders built into it. It doesn't have like, you want to change the bar at the top. That's like, because it comes with a black bar. You want to change that to blue. You go into the code and you type, you know, that says, you know, hashtag 00000. You change that in one place. Now it's blue. It's like, and I give all of that information. If you on buycarbonate.com, like all of those how-tos are like, here's how to change that. Here's how to do that. Here's how to fix that, or here's how to, like, you know, customize that.
Sure.
You have to go into the code, but you can do it all in WordPress. You actually don't even need any sort of like code knowledge. I literally tell you what to change.
Cool.
So that's how I do it. And it worked.
Awesome. And I think, yeah, it highlights a point where it's like, hey, you could figure out how to do stuff that you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And you dictated like, hey, I'm not going to do customer service.
Right.
And has that been well received? Do you get any pushback?
Not a single bit of pushback.
Okay.
Not a single. And here's the thing. Like, people will go like, everyone who's bought the theme has praised it and has immediately figured it out. It is not rocket science because it's so lean. There's like nothing to it. And I built it with customization in mind. Like, I built it like, okay, there is like a bunch of colors it comes with. You can change those colors, like the basic colors of the rainbow. Like, all those colors come in, but you can change the hex code. So if you want to use, you know, here's how to change it and do this and do that. And then it's based on a philosophy. Like, it's based on a principle of like, we don't do hamburgers on my site. Hamburgers are stupid. Why would you put a hamburger? You know, and if you don't know what I mean, when you go to mobile, there's that little thing at the top you click and it's JS that loads this whole thing. You could do it in CSS, but I'm like, just have less things.
Right.
So what I do in the when I teach people how to use it, it's like there are 4 navigation links that you can put at the top. And they should be one word. Okay? You can put up to 6, but just double check, like, it may look crappy. And so it's kind of based on like pare down, you know, you can figure out a way to do this. And then it also has like category pages. So if you want to create multiple category pages, you can link them throughout. And so it's really flexible and it's a good starting. You know, it's like once you have it, you have the code base. And if you want to like improve on it. Like, I don't have to improve on it. It is literally the lightest, leanest thing that I could possibly make. And even if you look, somebody was like, is it similar to the HTML5 frame? There's like an HTML5 theme that's like, I'm like, no, because that comes with like literally everything and it has no design to it whatsoever. At least mine comes with like just the things you need to start a content site or any kind of site and some basic design type elements.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect framework to build upon.
That's what I think. Yeah. And
Awesome.
I've gotten nothing but praise on it, which is honestly shocking.
Cool.
But I'm so happy with it because I'm like, this is great. Everyone loves it. And
Yeah.
I've seen it. And, you know, people were like installing it, putting it on their site and sending me their site. They're like, dude, my site loads in like 0.6 seconds. I'm like, nice.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's awesome.
I'm putting it as a testimonial on my page.
Matt has an awesome studio. He has like the fancy, like much more expensive microphones. And yeah, like I think they sound awesome. And like he has I think they're called like scissor arms. Mine's a little squeaky and I don't know. He has a huge, massive setup. So like a rack system and all that stuff. Mine's a little more lean. I have upgraded a couple microphones here and there. Which is nice, you know, it's nice overall, but these sound pretty good. I mean, just the fact that it's a dynamic mic and a couple other details. I won't go too deep, although I love geeking out on the equipment overall, but this sounds pretty good. His are even nicer. And I mean, I think the files that he gave me, right out of the SD card were perfect. Like I didn't have to touch them at all. So Jeremy says, my bounce rate is very low, about 20% for the last month, but your average time on a page is also very low, around 40 seconds. Any suggestions how I can increase that? Does it matter? I wouldn't worry about it too much if you're getting the behavior that you want. If you're making sales, basically if someone's clicking on an ad, right, and that's the desired conversion, then 40 seconds is fine. A bounce rate of 20% is like super low. Mine's usually around 85 or higher, or 80 or higher. It's pretty high. As far as 40 seconds, I encourage you to check out, I think it's the behavior section in Google Analytics, and just see the average time on your high traffic pages, because most of the traffic is going to your high traffic pages per definition. And when you look at those, you may find that people are actually spending a few minutes. So when I look at analytics, I'll see, hey, yeah, people are spending whatever 55 seconds on the site. I'm like, man, that's really low. That kind of sucks. What does that mean? And then when I dive down to specific pages, specific URLs, especially the ones that get a lot of traffic, they tend to be there for like whatever 4 to 8 minutes or something, a pretty long time. They're reading the content. So the content that is actually doing well is serving the visitor. People are reading it. As far as increasing the time on the site, couple things you could do. Make sure it's readable. So that comes down to formatting. Have images. Use subheadings. Use a lot of subheadings. Use bullet points, numbered list, tables, things to break up the text and make it more skimmable. If it looks approachable, people will be more likely to read it. Some people like to put videos on there so a person will watch the video. That counts as time on site. I usually put videos on, probably 75% of the post anyway, just because it's a good way to let Google know that the topic of the video is the one that's covered on the content on your page. So it all sort of ties together, and Google and YouTube are good buddies, so they kind of understand what the video is about. So highly encourage you to like put a video in anyway. But yeah, I guess those are the main points. Those are the main points. And it looks like we don't have any friendly moderator on today, but let's see if I'm able to on this. I don't know, it looks kind of tough. Oh, that is the one flaw. So I'm using this software called it's like Ecamm Live. So it allows me to, play the clips, do a couple cool things, but it looks like I'm having I don't know how to kick someone out of here. So it's like I have to go somewhere else. Well, we're coming up towards the end of time anyway. And if any of the kind moderators are here, you can kick that person out, and I'll let you know about a couple things coming up. So we do have the contest. A lot of people are asking about the contest. So you can just check out the link in the description. All you have to do is enter your email. There's some other ways you can get additional entries. A lot of people have already entered. There's also a brand builders offer where it's a done for you site. They put in essentially they put in like KGR content. They put in KGR content, which is super cool. And it's sort of, I mentioned it earlier, but I sort of scrutinized the sites and I was like, hey, you guys really need to make sure it fits here. I want to give a few additional keywords. Basically, you end up with, I think it's called like a content brief from a certain like, okay, I'm gonna have to hop over here and kick out this person here. I don't even know what kind of nonsense they're talking about here. Okay, hold on. I need to report this person and boom. Okay. I think you should be gone. And then sorry about the interruption. We have a mean person. Boom. Da 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 da. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's actually a pretty cool hide the user on this channel. Boom. Okay. How hard is it to keep people out? All right. All right. So I think we're towards the wrap up. Oh, we just have a lot of people on here. Hey, you know what? That's cool. Welcome on there. Okay. One more question. It looks like we have Asherwad says, I've started 3 websites together. You're working constantly using KGR. Can you give you more ideas to rank faster? They're all new domains. Okay. I think basically just publish more content. So keep publishing more and more content. Sometimes you can't slow down. Or sorry, you can't go faster because you just have to wait until things rank. So And I think that is about all I can offer. I mean, you can build links and stuff like that. That is always helpful. But I mean, generally, I mean, you can't rush things. Like, you can't rush things too much. And it looks like you got 3 or 4 websites. I recommend that you only work on one at a time, because basically what the issue that you're going to have, Isherwad, is you don't know what you're doing right now, and you're building 3 or 4 sites, right? You didn't even say how many. It's like 3 or 4. How many is it? 3 or 4. So you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes 3 or 4 times, and you're going to get discouraged because you're going to have to go back and fix it 3 or 4 times. So you end up just being very busy, kind of stressed out, and you're unable to execute in the way that you want to. So, for example, Derek, who just hit $1,000 per month, sent me an email just a few minutes ago. He was sharing, he's on these live streams often. He was like, "Hey, I focused and I've been working on it for like 5 months." So, yeah, basically, you need to focus and you will be in much better shape than working on 4 sites at a time. All right, if you end up working on 4 sites at a time, it's not going to work. I'm telling you. I've run into this so many times. People out there thinking, "Hey, I'm pretty smart. I'm more advanced than the average person, so I think I can do it." And I think I can beat the odds and actually work on multiple sites at the same time, not make mistakes. And Doug's wrong. I'm sorry to break it to you, but most people most people are average. It's really fucking hard to pull this stuff together. So I'm telling you, you can't work on 4 sites at one time. And I encourage anyone to that has done it as a beginner, shoot me an email, let me know what's going on. Usually I hear from people who are like, I built the second site, it was a huge mistake, blah, blah, blah. Or I did this a few times. It's like a public case study kind of situation where I was building like 4 or 5 sites at the same time. I think 5. And I know how to hire people. I had a budget. I was hiring a bunch of people, publishing a lot of stuff. And eventually I ran into a big issue. Out there. Basically, sites got penalized and, had a rough time. So I realized I should just work on the one site. And that is the key thing to realize. Key thing. All right. Key thing to realize. Francisco says, "Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. I wanted you to know if you ever have helped someone build a KGR based website in non-English language." Francisco. So I've never personally helped anyone build their sites, basically. And you know what? I want to expand on that a little bit, because some people, they're like, "Hey, can you work with me? I want you to help. I want you to be my mentor." And I don't want to fucking work on people's sites. I'll just be honest with you. I don't want to sit in front of the laptop. I'm doing this stuff so I don't have to sit in front of the laptop. So just a key distinction, because people are like, "Hey, can you coach me and like basically do the work for me?" I have a price, by the way, and it's very expensive. So I will sit and do some work. I'll do keyword research for you, but it's going to cost way more than if you just did it yourself, figured out how to do it. But to your point, your real question is, does the KGR work in non-English speaking languages? Which is kind of redundant. Does it work for non-English niches? The answer is yes. You can tweak the numbers and stuff, but basically it's universal. I believe the ratios would be a little bit more lenient, because generally there's going to be less competition for there'll be less competition for any sort of non-English website and niche in general. So, and I think okay, and Asherwad says, "I'm doing it with a small team, and you're making a system and process for each task. You'll keep me updated. You really need your guidance." That's it. Um, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Essentially, it's everyone thinks they're different. Everyone thinks they could beat the odds, and some people can, but almost everyone I know can't. So, because like I said, I thought, hey, I have a tech background. I do project management. I understand all the little pieces, but I had issues too. So, I mean, good luck. But I'm telling you, you're probably not going to be able to do it. All right. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You can't scale until you figure out how to do it. If you scale and it's inefficient or ineffective, you're fucked. It's not going to work. You're just amplifying the inefficiencies. That's just the way it is. So anyway, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck out there. Um, and Wesley, good point here. People are much more friendly and nice. So Wesley offers this advice. If you need someone else's guidance to build sites, then you're not ready to launch 4 at once. Thank you. That is a good way to say it. Yeah. Basically, you're saying you don't know what you're doing, but you're going full steam ahead, and you're hiring a team, and you're wasting resources. Just do one. What if they all work on one? Wouldn't that be better? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just one dude. So, all right, cool. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Wesley. And we had Steven on too. Derek, of course. We had Jeremy too. Josh in the course. Thanks a lot. And sorry if I forgot anyone else, but we're going to sign out. Got to run some errands today. Have a nice dinner planned. And I'm out of here. So, everyone, have a great day.